Out of all the roller coasters I've ridden, 122 to be exact, there's some that are really good and some that are just bad or mediocre. In this video, we're going to be looking at my top 15 favorite roller coasters in early 2023. Starting off the list is my favorite B&M Hyper Coaster, but I don't really feel like talking about it, so I'll have my friend Skylander talk about it instead.
Nitro is a fantastic B&M hypercoaster. From the stunning 215-foot drop while going up to the speeds of 80 miles per hour, it delivers an amazing flitter airtime throughout its 3-minute ride duration. Nitro isn't all about the airtime either. The 540-degree helix is intense and can lead to some riders to gray out. Not to mention it has awesome station music. This ride deserves a spot in its top 15.
At the number 14 spot, I have Stormrunner at Hershey Park. This intimate hydraulic launch coaster is a huge adrenaline rush. You go from 0 to 72 miles per hour in only 2 seconds as you climb the 180-foot tall top hat that gives fantastic airtime. You get a great view of the entire park, but you don't stay up there for long as you go right back down into a wacky-looking Immelman maneuver. And, into my opinion, the best part of the ride, the flying snake dive. You just never stop rolling, and the back-to-back inversions, I just love it. However, the ride is over in less than a minute, so if it had the length, then they would definitely be higher on this list, but for now, it's chilling at number 14. Taking the number 13 spot is a pretty debatable roller coaster, and that is Mind Blower at Fun Spot Kissimmee. This ride absolutely blew me away. I was expecting a boring, rough, old wooden roller coaster. But no, this thing is jam-packed with ejector airtime and intensity. But don't go in expecting a smooth wooden coaster, because this is not it. In fact, this is the exact opposite. It's very rough, but the fantastic inversion and all the other great moments make up for it. Next up on my list is a different roller coaster from any other on this list, and that is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure at Universal Islands of Adventure. This ride has some of the best theming I've ever seen. From the onboard audio to the Hagrid hut, this attraction is very well themed. That's not all the ride has to offer either. The ride goes backwards, it has a drop track, and even has the most launches on a roller coaster with 7. Overall, this ride just makes me really happy. It might not be the most thrilling, but it overall just makes me smile. Coming in at the number 11 spot is Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast at Six Flags St. Louis. This ride is fantastic. From the rapidly intense backward launch to the 200-foot spike while looking straight down at the ground, this ride never stops. The inverted top hat gives surprising hang time, and the overbank made me gray out. One thing that this ride really does well is the restraint system. I love how it only has a lap bar because this ride actually needs it. The overbank is sort of like a pothole because my legs just bounce back and forth every single time on the sides of the bars. Other people may not put this ride as high, but it was my 100th coaster, so I'm kind of biased. Kicking off the top 10 is Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion. This ride is absolutely insane. However, I don't remember half of it because I grayed out from the bottom of the first drop to the top of the first airtime hill. This rapidly intense intimate giga is jam-packed with positive G's and delivers a little bit of floater airtime. The only reason that it's this slow is because the ride is pretty short and I expected more from the airtime hills, especially the first one. At the number 9 spot, I have Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England. This is a near-perfect attraction. I think that the layout is the best layout ever created. It has a perfect mix of laterals and airtime. The ride also takes these moments to perfection, but the one thing holding it back is that the restraints are horrendous. I walk off the ride and my thighs are in so much pain that I can barely walk. If they can fix the restraints on this thing, then in no joke could be a top 3 coaster. Next is another King's Dominion coaster, and that is Twisted Timbers. This RMC has a compact layout and is overall just a fantastic ride. This thing is an airtime machine, as it gives fantastic ejector. The The airtime is so powerful and there's so much of it. From the 3 back-to-back airtime hills to the off-axis airtime, it's just great all around. This ride also has multiple inversions, such as the barrel roll down drop and a cutback that I found really whippy. I also find the train design really cool, and just the whole theme in general. Taking the number 7 spot is Skyrush at Hershey Park. This intimate wing style coaster is fantastic. The ride kicks off with a bang as it goes up a 200-foot cable lift hill incredibly fast. The first drop on this thing is probably one of the best out there. Skyrush throws in so much ejected airtime. Some moments are the 2 hills right after the first drop, and one of them towards the end of the ride. Skyrush also throws in an overbank and a twisted ejector hill. The train design is super cool. I love how on the outside you just get thrown to the side, especially on the first drop and the overbank. Coming in at the number 6 spot is Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City. This ride is just whack. The vertical drop out of the station is amazing as you get sideways ejector airtime, especially in the back row. The airtime on this ride is random. Like there's a super powerful moment of airtime in the middle of the ride for no reason. The 2 launches are actually decent for mock rides, and the inversions are fun, but not that forceful. That's one way to just describe Time Traveler. Fun. Just pure fun. The queue theming is also fantastic, but the ride living up to the hype is another thing. Unlike another ride in this park that just barely edged it out. Now don't get me wrong, Outlaw Run is a fantastic Woody, but I was kind of expecting more. The ride is super fun, the first drop's really good, the airtime moments are taken to perfection, and the inversions are very fun. But there are a couple of reasons why it's not as high. One of them being that it's not smooth. Yes, I know this is a wood coaster, but my back hurt only after 2 rides. It kind of reminded me of Mind Blower roughness. The second reason is that it's super short. This ride is so short. From the moment you're off the lift hill to the brakes, it's only about 40 seconds, which is like Storm Runner's shortness. If it was a little bit longer, then it might have edged out what happens to be my favorite RMC. Yeah, I know, I might get some hate for putting Wicked Cyclone above Outlaw Run, but Wicked Cyclone's actually fire. Like, this ride has so much airtime. Like, so much airtime. It feels like every other turn, there's another moment of airtime. The inversions on this ride are fire too. The stall feels very floaty, while the last inversion's kind of forcing you out of your seat more, and that brings me to this ride's only flaw, the last lap. It crawls to the last lap. But I feel like people hate on that so much that they don't remember what else Wicked Cyclone has to offer. Like the overbank and the off-axis airtime moments are amazing, and probably the best off-axis airtime I've ever experienced. Even though VelociCoaster is a great ride, how about I have my friend Luke talk about it instead?
VelociCoaster is a super unique and highly intense multi-launch coaster. The LSM launch is probably one of the best LSM launches out there. The inversions of VelociCoaster are absolutely fantastic. The best one being the Monstersaurus roll. VelociCoaster also delivers great airtime. It's one of those rides that builds up as you go through the ride. The first half is that intense or mind-blowing, but the second half is where it starts to pick up. You blast out of the encounter and go into a massive top hat. You go down into a stall, then hits 2 wave turns before hitting the best part of the ride, a small speed hill and the Monstersaurus roll, then a twisted airtime hill into the break room. VelociCoaster is a very high themed experience and it's worth every second you wait for it.
El Toro is a beloved coaster that happens to be my favorite Intamin. It delivers so much airtime, it's ridiculous. Not to mention the first drop is absolutely insane. Now this is the best first drop on any roller coaster, period. I don't care what anyone says, it's not going to change my mind. It also has a cable lift. Like what other wooden roller coaster has a cable lift? None, because El Toro is one of a kind and it should stay that way. The ride experience is fantastic too. The twister section feels out of place, but I like it, like a lot. Same with the amount of airtime. The camelbacks are fantastic. Then the ride throws in one final element with the Rolling Thunder Hill. It makes me mad how good this ride is. Here it is, guys. We made it. My number 1 coaster, and I don't think it's much of a surprise. Fury's a fantastic ride, and there's nothing else I can really say. It's just amazing, and my number 1 coaster. Thanks for watching. Good night.